We've all seen the Sunday version, the tears, the raised hands, the total immersion in worship. But for many, the reality from Monday to Saturday is a quiet, submerged existence in depression, temptation, and a deep internal misery. This leads to a persistent doubt about the nature of faith. We have to ask why salvation often seems to fail the very people who claim to have it. This friction usually stems from the assumption that salvation is a single, all-at-once event, a one-time download meant to fix every part of a person in an instant. The text of 1 Thessalonians 5:23 suggests a different architecture. It calls for a complete sanctification that specifically treats the spirit, soul, and body as three distinct components. This is the blueprint of the integral being. Under this model, the human being functions as a machine made of three separate subsystems: a central core of spirit, a middle network of the soul, and an outer shell of the body. God repairs these systems on entirely different schedules. This means your eternal core can be fully secured for the afterlife, while your emotional network is still struggling through a daily crisis on Earth. Phase 1 focuses on the spirit. At the moment of belief, this innermost core is instantly revived and permanently fused with its creator. This system is the only one that is fully and immediately secure. The eternal destination is locked in. Then there is phase 2, the soul. This layer governs your mind, emotions, and will. It is the active, daily battlefield where the most resistance occurs. Think of the soul as a system that requires a constant laundry cycle. It carries the corrupted data and old desires of its past, like a former con artist who still feels the impulse to scam, requiring a grueling, continuous process of purification to stay clean. When a soul refuses this purification, the corruption multiplies and hardens into a barrier. This malware effectively traps the light radiating from the spirit core, paralyzing the internal systems. In this state, a rebellious soul takes the saved spirit hostage, leaving the believer entirely disconnected from any sense of divine peace. This creates a dilemma for the divine engineer. What happens when the soul's software completely refuses the repair and enters a state of open rebellion? We find a case study in the ruins of ancient Corinth. A member of that church was a saved believer who allowed his soul to persist in unrepentant sin. The apostolic response in 1 Corinthians 5:5 was extreme. The church was ordered to hand the man over to Satan. There is a specific mechanical logic here. The decree acts as a failsafe, allowing for the destruction of the physical body to force a system reboot that preserves the spirit. In this context, physical suffering functions like a drastic surgical amputation. It stops the soul's infection before it can compromise the entire machine. This is where we see the role of phase 3, the body. It is essentially the lowest tier hardware, a temporary shell whose permanent upgrade is delayed until the final resurrection. The divine priority is clear. The temporary hardware of the body is expendable if destroying it is the only way to break a rebellious soul and save the eternal spirit. The ultimate goal of this process is reintegration. This is the moment where all three layers are found blameless or irreprehensible, without a single flaw remaining. Reaching this standard through raw individual effort is a dead end. The process requires handing the machine over to the Holy Spirit for active daily maintenance. These different maintenance tracks produce two distinct forms of happiness. A blameless spirit provides eternal happiness, the permanent approval of God in the life to come. A blameless soul, however, produces earthly happiness. It restores a state of peace and abundant life in the immediate present environment.
For those who are miserable and losing their peace, the issue isn't a loss of salvation, but a loss of their earthly inheritance. To stop the suffering, the soul must be submitted to the daily work of obedience.